What's up, YouTube? So this is a quick reminder that we are going to be doing our live Q&A session for the Sync Edge members at 9 a.m. That's about 30 minutes from right now. I have literally, I think 6, maybe 7 spots open. We had one cancellation, so one of them opened up. So not many spots left. I do cut it off every single month at 50. I don't want a hurricane of producers coming in and oversaturating the market for the libraries that I am suggesting you guys go work with. But it will be, if you're a member here in the membership area, that's where my screenshot is showing you right now. And I wanted to give you guys quickly some of the genres that we go over with these videos. I know that you know, some of you will produce maybe 1 or 2 genres, but you probably are curious like what genres are being included for the libraries that I do recommend, and give you guys the breakdown for how to submit to them, the smart way to analyze their current catalog, to understand exactly who they're submitting and serving their music with so that your music can be the most licensable and also competitive. Is it on par with the kind of music that they actually are creating? So one would be, let me make sure this is working here. 1 second. Yeah. Just want to make sure my live stream was going there so I'm not talking to myself. So we do have tension cues right here. We do some minimal cues. This is orchestral and electronic. And for the tension cues, those are all over the place: orchestral, rock, world, ethnic. If you do world or ethnic music, or you have some sample libraries that can get into that genre, and you can do some tension or maybe minimal cues with it, you've got a really, really great chance of doing well, because it's one of those genres that not a lot of people can do very well, and they certainly don't have the right samples, and a lot of times it sounds like a cheesy keyboard producing something. So if you have like authentically recorded world sounds and libraries that you're working with, you can really stand out in this business. So that would be something you should look into. Of course, like I said, minimal. It can be orchestral with strings and you know, piano and that kind of thing, or it can be electronic with more like a minimal 9-inch nails kind of electronic, low pulsing kind of a vibe that can go on there. There's one that asks for rock, pop, or indie, but this has got to be vocal music, okay? So if you are a singer-songwriter, or you have a vocalist that you can work with to put some great vocals on your tracks, we do have a library specializing for that. Modern hip-hop and trap, rock, metal hybrids. So this is one of the ones we just did. Put a space right there. This is the ones we just did, actually. I think that was just the last month. We had the rock metal hybrid one for one of these libraries that gets very, very big trailers and placements. So if you're a metalhead like me, and you can learn how to sort of incorporate some orchestral trailer type elements into your tracks, you can really do well there. Old school hip hop. So those of you guys that's like making music, hip hop music from like the 80s, the 90s, kind of a retro thing. We actually have an opportunity going on right now in the syndicate about that. But for those of you that are hip hop heads and you love making that sort of throwback sound, we have one like that. Folk and Latin. So that can be also sort of indie folk, kind of the modern folk that you hear, you know, these new artists that are coming out. So that would be something like that. Latin music as well. One of those that not many producers pull off authentically. A lot of people try it, but it doesn't sound that good. So if you can pull off a really authentic sound, you can really do well there. We do modern hip hop and trap. I guess that's another one. So we have 2 libraries that are looking for that. We do have one for top 40 pop and EDM. So if that's your flavor, then we've got something for you. Another rock and metal hybrid, an indie rock, but this one needs vocals. So again, if you've got somebody that can sing and put some great sounds on your vocals on your tracks, you're good. EDM corporate. So corporate music is a little bit more, I wouldn't say mellow, but it's a little bit more usually about optimism. It's trying to drive a sort of innovative, sort of lifting your spirit sort of a vibe. That's kind of what you get with this sort of corporate stuff. And with EDM, you're basically going to be using, you know, EDM 4 on the floor, maybe some side chaining, kind of swelling synths, that kind of thing, right? It can sound very modern. It can sound very much like it's on the charts. Trailer orchestral, that's one of those A-list libraries that you better bring your A game to. We have some modern corporate. That could be also, as opposed to the EDM corporate, this could be probably mostly guitar-based music, piano-based music, right? Not so much in the dance world. And then we have modern and retro pop, so you could actually do some like old school pop stuff, 80s, 90s pop, but also modern pop as well. And then we do have another orchestral hybrid rock one. So rock metal and rock hybrid seem to be pretty popular with a lot of these libraries that I feel it's lacking. Excuse me, it's lacking. So a lot of these genres that you see in front of you, the reason why I recommend them for certain libraries is because that library carries some of it, but the stuff that they carry is either not that great or there's very little of it. So you could come to the table with a full album in these styles and make sure that it's at or probably better. I suggest obviously getting much better than the current quality of licensable music that they have. and then you're in, right? So you have a very lucrative and almost undeniable submission to these companies, rather than what most producers and artists out there do is just spam tons of companies with their music and just hopefully you can use this. So it shows no forethought, no foresight into what's happening with these companies, no attention to thinking about what do you want, what could you need, maybe I could be here to help serve your needs. You got to turn on that service mindset mentality in this business if you really want to get ahead of the pack. Most producers are way too narcissistic and in their own bubble to do well in this business. They just think that their music should be licensed because they could hear it on a TV show or on a commercial. That's not how the real world works. The real world is music libraries have clients, and those clients need specific music to enhance their productions, their TV shows, their commercials, their trailers, their films. And they might love what you're doing, but they might also say that music is not really appropriate for this opportunity. It doesn't mean they hate you or they hate your music. So if you can kind of get outside of that egotistical mindset and think about, well, how do I make music that's the most usable in this business? That's when you get the placements and the checks and the royalties and the sync fees and all that kind of stuff starts pouring into your bank account, okay? But you got to start with that mindset of getting out of your own way. It's not really about you. You do need to bring your creative genius to this and your creative energy and your effort. But at the end of the day, if it's not serving the needs of somebody in this business, it is a waste of time and a waste of energy, at least when it comes to licensing your music. If you want to just put your music out on Spotify or on your YouTube channel and just, you know, share it with your fans or friends or family friendly, yeah, I guess that's the friends and family combination, go for it. Like, that's not what I'm commenting on. I'm just talking about those of you that want to make full-time income by licensing your music. This is the mind shift change that you're going to have to definitely participate in if you really want to do well. And that's what SyncEdge basically helps train you do, right? When you get into this program, you watch these videos. I release 2 every single month. There's always new genres coming out and new libraries that I release. And this is the kind of stuff that you start to train your brain to start recognizing. And you guys have seen, hopefully you've seen a lot of my success stories already. I've posted them on this channel. I have some of them on Facebook as well. They're also on the link below if you want to enroll and catch us for our live Q&A. Again, we have about 30 minutes now before I get started on that. So you can join. I have a few spots left. But that's usually the #1 comment I get from the people who succeed is they say, you know, Jesse, the first couple of videos really just retrained my brain to look at libraries in a completely new way that I'd never thought about looking at them before. Before I was just looking for the submit button and I didn't think about looking into the rest of their website and sort of analyzing what was going on with this company to decide, am I really going to be a contender? Am I going to be competitive? Is this really a smart fit? I can tell you most of the time, if in your head you realize and you have certainty that, okay, not only is my music on par or better than what they have, but I'm definitely going to be serving their needs, your chances are stacked so in your favor to get accepted by them. Again, they could be in a season where they're not taking on new writers, where they're kind of booked with other gigs and they're not looking for new producers, but that's out of your control. But if you have a sort of focus, zeroed in focus kind of energy for the submission that you're putting together for a particular library, you are ahead of, I'm telling you, 95% of the producers out there. They don't even take a few minutes to do this research to figure out how to submit the right way. That's why this is a very valuable service. That's why it's the only service out there that I've ever seen even doing something like this, particularly for the music licensing industry. So I have not found anything even close to what I'm offering here, let alone the quality of the advice and information and guidance that I'm giving you guys through these videos. So if you want to join us, last chance, click on that link below. We got a few spots left, and I'll see you members in the membership area. Look at the top up here right above me. You're going to see a big red button that says join me for the live Q&A. You're going to click on that. It'll take you to the private link where you can post your questions in the chat, and I'll be hanging out for about an hour today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. So don't miss it, 9 a.m. Pacific Coast time, okay?